rocking this stage tonight. Feel the power, let it ignite. Together we own the night. From nowhere, hear the sound. We're rocking this whole damn town. Together we stand and united we play.
The music was already playing when no one noticed him walk in. No security rush. No announcement. No spotlight turning his way. He didn't sit in the front row. He didn't wave. He didn't ask for attention. He took a seat like everyone else, just another face in the crowd. On stage, the tribute band launched into one of Ozzy's most iconic songs. The kind everyone thinks they know by heart. The kind people shout along to without thinking. The crowd sang. The band played. Everything felt normal. Too normal. Because hidden in the noise was a voice that didn't belong to the audience. It wasn't loud. It wasn't trying to be heard. But it carried something different, something impossible to fake. A few people felt it before they understood it. That chill, that instinctive pause, that moment where your brain says, wait, why does that sound real? No one on stage realized what was happening yet. No one turned around. No one stopped the song. But in just a few seconds, a tribute performance was about to turn into something no one in that room would ever forget. Because the voice blending into the music was the voice that created it. The venue wasn't big or glamorous. It was the kind of place where the floor vibrates when the bass hits, where the lights are just bright enough to see the stage, and where everyone came for the same reason, to relive a sound they loved. Posters lined the walls. Drinks clinked. People leaned into each other, smiling as the first notes hit. This was a tribute night, not a headline event. No expectations, no surprises. Just familiar songs played by musicians who respected the originals enough to study every detail. The band moved with confidence. They'd done this set 100 times. The guitarist hit the riffs clean. The drummer locked in. The singer wore the look, the walk, even the attitude. Close enough that the crowd nodded along, satisfied. Phones came out not because something incredible was happening, but because this was comfort. Nostalgia. A shared memory playing out live. To everyone in that room, this was exactly what it claimed to be, a tribute to Ozzy Osbourne. Nothing more, nothing less. And no one, not the band, not the fans, not even the camera pointed at the stage, had the slightest idea that the real thing was already listening from the crowd. He stayed where he was, half-shadowed, away from the stage lights. No entourage, no bodyguards clearing space. Just a man sitting still while his own music filled the room. People passed by without a second glance. Someone squeezed past his row, murmuring an apology, unaware of who they were brushing shoulders with. A couple nearby argued playfully about which song they hoped the band would play next. He smiled to himself. There was something almost poetic about it, the creator watching his creation live a life of its own. No one asking for autographs. No whispers spreading through the crowd, no phones turning in his direction. On stage, the singer poured emotion into every line, trying to sound like Ozzy, trying to be him for a few minutes at a time. And just a few feet away, the real voice sat quietly, listening. This was the strange tension no one else could feel. The room celebrated a legend without recognizing him. A tribute echoed through the venue, unaware it was being judged by the very man it honored. He didn't interrupt. He didn't stand. He didn't correct them. He just listened, patient, amused, almost invisible, as the moment slowly crept closer to colliding with reality. The next song began without warning. The kind of song that doesn't need an introduction. The crowd recognized it from the first note. A few cheers broke out. Someone whistled. A dozen voices jumped in early, already singing the chorus before it arrived. The band settled into the groove, comfortable and confident. This was their moment to shine. The singer leaned into the mic, pushing his voice just a little harder, stretching for that familiar edge. Then it happened. A voice from the crowd slipped into the music, not louder than the others, not trying to stand out. But it didn't wobble. It didn't chase the melody. It sat inside it, steady and sure, like it had been there from the beginning. At first, no one reacted. It blended too well, but a few heads turned. Someone stopped singing and listened. A woman near the aisle frowned slightly, as if her ears were catching up to something her brain hadn't processed yet. That voice didn't sound like a fan. It didn't sound like practice. It sounded lived in. On stage, the singer hesitated for half a beat. Not enough to stop, just enough to feel it. The guitarist glanced sideways. The drummer tightened his grip. Something was wrong. Not bad. Just different. And whatever it was getting harder to ignore. The chorus came around again, louder this time. The crowd leaned in, voices rising together, hands in the air. It should have been noise, messy, enthusiastic, and perfect. But suddenly one voice cut clean through it. Not by force, by certainty. It rode the melody like it knew exactly where the next note lived. No hesitation. No reach. Just control. The kind you don't learn from copying, the kind you earn by creating. The singer on stage faltered, just for a breath. His eyes flicked toward the sound before he could stop himself. The band felt it too. The song didn't stop, but it might as well have. The singer turned fully toward the crowd, eyes searching now, no longer pretending it was nothing. The guitarist missed a note. The drummer slowed, sticks hovering in the air as the sound on stage began to unravel. Then they saw him, not standing, not posing, just looking back at them. Recognition hid in layers. First confusion, then disbelief. Then that sharp, breath-stealing realization that makes your stomach drop. That wasn't a fan. That wasn't confidence. That was him. The tribute singer's face drained of color, his mouth opened, then closed again as if words refused to form. Someone on stage whispered his name, not into the mic but to themselves. The crowd followed their gaze. Funds shot up, gasps rippled outward like a shockwave. A roar swelled, half laughter, half awe, as people scrambled to understand what they were seeing. Ozzy Osbourne was in the audience, and the tribute band wasn't performing for him anymore. They were performing with him. In that instant, the room stopped being a venue. It became history happening in real time. For a moment, no one knew what to do. The singer lowered the mic, hands slightly shaking, caught between disbelief and something that felt dangerously close to tears. The guitarist laughed under his breath, a short, stunned sound, like his body needed release before his mind could catch up. The drummer just sat there frozen, staring at the man whose songs had probably pushed him to pick up sticks in the first place. Ozzy didn't rush the stage. He didn't demand the spotlight. He smiled, small, almost shy, and gave a subtle nod as if to say, "It's okay. Keep going." That's when the tension broke. The band relaxed. The crowd exhaled. Someone cheered not because it was Ozzy Osbourne, but because the moment felt real. Unscripted. Earned. Ozzy sang again, this time openly. Not to prove anything. Not to outshine anyone. Just to share the song shoulder to shoulder, voice to voice. There was no ego in it. No performance mask. Just musicians connected by the same music, realizing that the legend they admired wasn't above them on a pedestal. He was right there with them. And somehow that made the moment even bigger. This wasn't viral because a celebrity showed up unannounced. It wasn't special because a famous Joyce joined a song. It mattered because of how it happened. Ozzy didn't walk in expecting recognition. He didn't interrupt, correct, or claim ownership over the moment. He let others celebrate the music without reminding them who made it first. That's rare. In a world obsessed with being seen, he was content being unseen, until the music naturally pulled him forward. Not through status, not through fame, through authenticity. And that's why the moment landed so hard, because it reminded everyone in that room, and everyone watching later, that real greatness doesn't announce itself. It doesn't demand validation. It doesn't need to prove anything. The tribute band didn't fail by not recognizing him. They succeeded by honoring the music so honestly that the creator himself couldn't resist joining in. For a few minutes, there were no titles, no headlines, no legends versus imitators. Just people connected by a song that outgrew all of them. That's why this moment stayed with us. Not because Ozzy was there, but because he didn't need to be seen to matter. The moment didn't end when the song did. It echoed. Phones captured it. Clips spread online. Fans rewound and shared over and over, just to see the reactions again, the band's stunned faces, the crowd's collective gasp, the quiet smile of the man who created the music they all loved. Within hours, the video had gone viral, igniting comments, tweets, and messages from people all over the world. The tribute band was overwhelmed. Offers for interviews, live appearances, and collaborations flooded in. But it wasn't about fame or money. It was about validation in a way no rehearsal ever could provide. The knowledge that their dedication to the music had been recognized in the most extraordinary way possible. And for the fans who witnessed it in person, it became a memory they would tell for the rest of their lives. A story about humility, authenticity, and the power of music to connect people across fame, time, and expectation. Even Ozzy's casual gesture created ripples, a reminder that legends are human, that music is bigger than ego, and that sometimes the quietest, simplest moments leave the longest-lasting impact. The room wasn't just changed that night. It inspired thousands more to listen, watch, and believe in the magic of a genuine moment. Sometimes the legend isn't on stage. Sometimes the legend is sitting quietly beside you, listening, smiling, and waiting for the right moment to remind you why the music matters. No fanfare, no spotlight. Just presence. And when that moment comes, it doesn't just change the song, it changes everything. Share this if you believe that true greatness doesn't need an introduction. Because some moments aren't meant to be watched. They're meant to be felt. The music was already playing when no one noticed him walk in, no security rush, no announcement, no spotlight turning his way. He didn't sit in the front row, he didn't wave, he didn't ask for attention. He took a seat like everyone else, just another face in the crowd. On stage, the tribute band launched into one of Ozzy's most iconic songs, the kind everyone thinks they know by heart. The kind people shout along to without thinking. The crowd sang, the band played, everything felt normal. Too normal. Because hidden in the noise was a voice that didn't belong to the audience. It wasn't loud. It wasn't trying to be heard. But it carried something different, something impossible to fake. A few people felt it before they understood it. That chill, that instinctive pause, that moment where your brain says, wait,